Hello, welcome to Laptop Radio. On today's show, the topic is how to find the right technical co-founder. We have Ofer Eliasi, former CTO of Blocks.io, startup advisor and public speaker with us. Hello, Ofer.
Hey, Michelle.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Where are you located today?
Today I'm in Israel. It's kind of right now middle of the night, but I'm alert and everything's fine. Used to work with the US generally, and of course California. So it's this is a time is actually usual for us. So yeah,
Awesome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm in California and it is sunny. What is your story?
Basically, my story starts 15 years ago, serving the Israeli army. Start learning, actually signing to computer science studies. Later on, as part of me doing service at the Israeli Air Force, starting with the tech scene over there. Later moved to some enterprises like Microsoft and Amdocs, really huge companies. But since then, actually, I figure out that what is most valuable to me, or what I can donate the most, is obviously on more and more small companies. Once I got an offer of my former manager to join his second round, his actually second startup, I took that very quickly, and eventually this startup ended up as a huge success, an exit. A company that sold to Facebook. Since then, doing a lot of activity on startups and of course technology. After that, I guess the most important stuff is how I got to the blockchain scene, and that's definitely something I can define as accidentally. It was kind of again a friend that said that he needs some help, and to get someone that's a friend of his needed someone to lead the technology on an ICO company that's already raised a lot of money, and it was perfect to me. I was not afraid of something that is for me was new. I knew the blockchain industry and cryptocurrency is something that should be eventually a mainstream. I saw the future in it and the potential in that. So that there was no hesitation, and it was very easy for me to move to that position. And yeah, during that and since then, I'm doing a lot of activity, helping people, startups, launching their projects, a lot of advising on the tech side, architecture, SaaS, cloud-based platforms, data-driven platforms. Doing a lot of this. It's definitely something that I can say that is one of my specialties, and you can take it as generally heavy lifting new projects end to end, getting a lot of satisfaction out of it. Obviously, this is something that you can easily, with not spending a lot of time, get a lot of impact. So I like doing that, and obviously there's a lot of activity in Tel Aviv. So it's easy to find the right places and the right people to hang out with and launch those projects. That's it, I guess.
All right, let's go to the topic, how to find the right technical co-founder. If you are not technical and you're looking for a person who is technical to co-found a company, what should you look for?
Why? I will start with even define why it's an issue. Why to have a partner once you're not a technical guy? Why it's an issue at all? So if we think of it for a minute, it's very easy to say that sometimes people in a situation where they have their dream, their idea that is supposed to be their life project, and they put a lot of effort already, and get to a point where they're 100% sure about what they're doing, and this is something that they want to put a lot of risk on, but they're still missing something, and that's you can call it the execution, and even before that, someone that will help them define what exactly they want to do and how, and sometimes even raise money, and also how much money they actually need for the first step. So it becomes more an issue once you're familiar with the fact that there are not a lot of people that know how to do that. And once you have a lack of, oh, it's very hard to find those people, that's become an issue. And you need to act very carefully in order to do it right and find the right one to operate, to cooperate actually with.
I wanted to really have a conversation about this. If we are Ofer, I mean, and I met you at Blockchain Week, and if I were sitting right next to you at a cafe, say having coffee, and say you're my friend, I just met you there. Say I'm not technical, and I have this idea, and I approach you. I say, hey, I'm building something awesome. This is my vision. Can you be my co-founder? Why would I do that instead of hiring a developing company? What are the pros and cons of that? And why would I need a team, right? I just have so many questions. Why do I need a team? Can I just do it myself? You know about love and relationships and marriage. Not every one of those work out. And here I am, I'm forced to find a co-founder. I'm forced to give them some of my shares. What if they become crooked and they leave with it, or they kicked you out, right? Those are just some of the questions I have.
Obviously, as someone that is very experienced, you're asking, you're not only asking the right questions, you're also answering them. And I tell you what I mean. Definitely, there is not only one option. And to get involved with the co-founder from the first step is only one option. And you should define not only who you get involved with, but also when and how. And that's exactly what you mentioned. Because one of the first definition is what exactly you need, whether it's a co-founder, maybe some team leader, maybe an external company that do the job for you. And it's not a yes or no. Sometimes something in the middle. You can start with an external company building a POC and later move on to something else. And you should remember that there is a huge advantage of postponing this cooperation or having someone very senior involved in your project, because once you get involved later, you actually need to give less. The risk is lower. Having said that, there are some advantages of having a senior technical position involved on the early stage. First of all, he should face the investors. He is the one that should be part of your deck and your pitch. You should do the part. If it's something that is a technical challenge, you probably need someone to show or actually speak about what is the challenge and how you're going to solve it. On other aspect of it, you need some plan. You need to know or to figure out what exactly you're going. Investors are asking that, and even more than that, sometimes angels, VCs, any other capital sources won't be willing to give you money without this part fulfilled. So you need to consider that too. That it's sometimes going to be a requirement from them. For example, by the way, on the opposite way, they sometimes will even help you get the right people. So that's also an option. So back again, it's not a yes or no question. It's more about having the right position, or define the right position or the volume of involvement, and to set the right point for him or her to join the project.
I wanted to talk a little bit about distribution of shares, because over the years, I've seen a lot of that happening sometimes, and this is just amazing. I think sometimes it takes a lot of people to not just execute and develop a platform, but to have sales and to have it thrive. And it takes a lot of people. But a lot of times, founders or co-founders, they are not willing to distribute their shares and share that among the co-founding team. And you can tell it's that relationship with money again. And you can tell whether a company is successful or not by their distribution of shares and how they structure that. If a founder owns 70% of the company, what does it mean for the other folks who are in the team? And does money really and shares really motivate people? Sweat equity aside, if the company fails, they are basically working for free. What does that mean? What is really a fair distribution of money, including options and grants for a founder?
So you definitely mentioned something that is very important. That's the whole thing. That's what drive people. People who get involved with the startup on early stages. This incentive is something that is probably going to be very important to them, and the founder needs to first know that, because if you get people and not get them involved with the success, you're whether going to lose them or just make them not care enough. On the other hand, it's become more and more popular. People get that. I can sense personally that more founders realize that obviously realize that, and are more generous these days in the terms of giving more shares to the founder team, and even later on to people join the team. That's very obvious. Of course, we're talking about shares or any other compensation that is as something that is when you don't have money to pay high salaries.
Mhm.
But obviously, even if you do that, that is something that should be integrated inside any people that join the team. So definitely, I don't think that founders need to hold the shares very close and not spread it to the team. They need to understand that if success is coming, it's better for them to get less shares but increase the odds to success, and that's the right equation. And if you don't get that, or you don't understand that this is the way to doing that, you're probably gonna lose or work very hard, because people will not be on your side 100%.
And also you also develop really bad reputation as well. And even though
Definitely.
this is kind of common sense, I've seen in the community a lot of founders who refuse to provide shares to their team member or even advisor. I really don't understand that. It's just like
By the way,
you're working for
like,
free.
they're working for
However,
free.
your shares are not worth anything at that time. It's like what?
It's even more than that. It's even more than that. Sometimes when success coming and you sell the company, you also need to take care of the people. You have a point of you can define what the shares or the options are worth, and you can play with that on the selling agreement. You can play with that. You can spread as much as money as you can, or as much as shares and options as you can, but eventually they're going to be not worth much. So it's not even on the early stage, it's also after that. If
Mhm.
you talk about reputation, if it was me, I prefer to get, and as you see the real money when you sell the company, you see the real money. I guess it's best for you to get a bit less and spread some of it to the rest of the people, and you
Yeah.
can you can you can set that on the agreement. So it's not only the first step, it's even after that, and people should be aware of that.
Yeah, I think it's just really important that as a founder, you when you structure your option pool and your shares, you think about your team and their contribution so that there's a balance. So I do agree with you on that. Let's talk about dating a little bit. Looking for a co-founder is kind of like dating. Of course, you want to find the right one, and of course, the topic is how to find the right technical co-founder. Since the word "right" is in there, how do we find the right one?
So So you mentioned dating, and I guess that's the right approach, because you're not moving to live together the first date. You just need to take it step by step. So, and another keyword is advising, and you said that also. As I see it, the best way doing that and validate that this is the right person for you, and putting the technical side, technical aspect of it a bit aside for now, and saying, because it's also personal, getting someone involved step by step, exactly the same as dating, doing some minor parts of it, and later move to something that is more important, and get him to know the project better and the people that involved with this project, and even have a say more and more with the right way will obviously get you the right sense on the right time, and will make the other side to be more willing to join when times come. More than that, if it's a pre-seed stage, then you obviously sometimes don't have money to pay, and that can eliminate the people that will be willing to do a full time. So this constellation of having someone with limited hour involvement can get you more people that will be willing to cooperate on this stage.
Let's look at some red flags though. I remember there were certain people that I went through looking for a CTO and a few other people. Issue number one, what if they have really good companies on their resume? Say they worked at Google, went up to MIT or went to Berkeley, did amazing things. Would that be an automatic yes if you were the non-technical co-founder?
So definitely not, because you obviously need the relevant experience. So I'm not sure about, definitely, and sometimes it's a disadvantage if you're coming from an enterprises and you don't know how to act as a startup. That's definitely not an advantage. You need someone that have been in the same situation with other company, and because you're not have time as a young startup, you don't have time to learn. You need to act and need to do it right. And once you have someone that is experienced, then it's probably going to save a lot of time. As a mid-size and large-size company, they have more patience to learn and to educate people. But on startups, definitely on the first steps, it's best for you to get more experienced people with the relevant experience and make them act fast. Because second chance or do things over and over, you're sometimes going to find yourself fail because of that. So obviously you can't do it on one shot every time or on all aspects of the product, but let's make it as much as we can with less iterations in order to get a more efficient spend of money. So obviously Google is not it's an indicator for a good person that or good people with the technical skills, but I'm not sure it's the right approach. You need someone that know how to heavy lift, to implement, and have an experience with many aspects of life cycle, of the development life cycle. People on enterprises mostly do one thing. They do it good, sometimes very good, but they mostly do one thing. They won't do coding and DevOps and monitor and QA and automated tests, and not building the infrastructure and the research the technologies. They're probably going to have only one of them. And if you need someone to operate on startup, you need someone that definitely the first one should be someone that knows how to do all of them.
Okay, my next question is regarding to time. When you're dating, for example, I can meet a guy and he could be very possessive and he wants 100% of my time. Or I can meet another guy who is a golfer, so I would never ever see him. Or I can meet a guy and he's really balanced, like he'll do his stuff, I'll see him as well. When you're looking for a co-founder, say he wants to be CTO, or he's a technical person or lead technical person, and he says that he's interested and he works full-time, let's say at Google or Facebook, and he has about 2 hours a week to devote to your startup, and say he's relatively skilled, passionate but okay, say he has he has a family, what would you do?
Well, it actually depends on what are where the most challenging part of your project. Sometimes there are projects that before raising money, you do some kind of POC. You need someone to, like I said, face with the investors and get some plan written, or some way to to estimate what's going on and how to do it, but not much more than that. And on that case, the challenge probably would be after raising money, and you want to get the right person there ready on time once you got the money, And by the way, on that case, it's probably going to be involved with less compensation. So we need to remember that. So it really depends on what exactly is required for from this partner to do. And sometimes I think it's maybe worth it, because as I see it, it is very hard to find the right people. And
Mhm.
if the proceed, or before you have money, is several months, and you can manage that, and you get someone, you get the right people that is a perfect match for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, then definitely the answer
Yeah.
is all over the place.
Yeah.
So it really depends, but think of how much time is going to spend and when, and by that you should define what the right volume for you.
Yeah. And just for my listeners, what is proof of concept or POC?
Okay. So most of the time, as any stage of startup that is obviously need to raise money more than once. You need to as much as baked as your project is, and as much as you get by the time you need to raise money, or it's actually set the valuation of your company. And the higher the valuation, you get more money and for less options, or less actually shares of your company. So having said that, the POC is is the first thing that you're probably going to do in order to raise the seed money, or pre-seed money, is the part where you build something that is just sometimes in order to show to the investors, or to prove yourself that is working, or kind of working, or is the right way doing that. So it's a minimum time spent in order to get something work.
Yeah.
Um, Not necessarily need to be useful to others, but something that is running and visual or visible to who is relevant.
Yeah. I think the startup world call it minimum viable product. I think some startups basically just went beyond that, but they don't balance marketing with the product, which is a big mistake. And others don't have anything
Definitely.
to show and just try to raise money. So it's kind of interesting. And as a founder, I think just really is something to consider. And my other question regarding dating is for the woman actually who are listening. If you're a woman and you don't have the technical skills, and that is not to say that there are no women who cannot code, okay? So if I'm a woman and I am not technical, I'm looking for a technical person. And let's say I meet a guy who's technical. Let's say that guy is hitting on me on day 1 or day 2 or day 5. What should I do? Should I hire that person or consider that person seriously as a technical co-founder?
Or marry him. That's also an option.
Well, this is a real question. I mean, I want it to be as helpful to the community as possible.
If you remember that if you marry him, then it's you actually get the shares back. So it's
Well,
a
but if you
double
divorce
win.
him, then you might break the startup. And then you'll talk about startups every day. You want to do that?
uh,
That's your life. But it depends on the
uh,
person, of course, right?
I guess some people know how to act on parallel channels without interfering one another. So I saw people. By the way, I saw people that can do both without even blinking. So that's something that you need to. If you know how to do that, that's probably an advantage.
Yeah,
But it
like
can.
for example, if you're the woman and you do not like the guy, and that guy is basically, if you want that guy to be the technical co-founder,
I don't
and
think it's an
once the
issue.
guy knows that you don't like him, will he leave, and will he transfer that knowledge of what he's built to another person, right? So you're not just thinking about finding the right co-founder, you're thinking about longevity of the product. So how does that impact the other? And with relationships, some of them are successful in both, for example, but others aren't. If you are me, or the woman, what would you do?
I honestly don't see. I don't think it's an issue. I think you can put it aside, and even if you try something, that can be something that you can move on, or just put it aside. And if it's good enough, and you know how to move on, and don't stick to that, or do it obsessively,
Mm-hmm.
then I guess that's good enough. That's fine by me, I guess.
Okay.
But again, I'm a man.
You have to kiss a lot of frogs to find the right co-founder, and this is really important in the conversation of finding the right technical co-founder, because like dating, screening people is very important, because a lot of people, when you're starting out or starting up, they want your shares. Some of them do, and you just have to screen and quote unquote date people really well.
So I guess there is one difference between dating and finding the right partner as a co-founder. I guess dating, you don't really know what to expect, and you can set some criterias, but it's never a perfect. It's not going to perfect match, or even close to that, by a set of criteria. You can do that. It's not working like that. It's unexpected. But on a co-founder, it's definitely something that you know how to measure, and how to validate, and even how to let others help you validate that. On a personal relationship, you don't really knows how to. External people want. It will be hard for them to define if it's good for you or not, personally. But on a co-founder, on a technical side, it's very clear that you're looking for something specific. Of course, there is there is a personal relationship, but it's not only that. So on that case, you can have more odds or more successful picking the right person by setting some criteria. Or you know what, I can even define it a bit different. Setting or focusing on the right part, or the right things that you want to have on your co-founder.
Okay, let's go outside of dating, and because you brought up a really good point that I wanted to emphasize on, is a concept of non-attachment. Dating and family lives, you have some emotional attachment, but if you're building a business, it generates income and a result. People say, oh, this is my baby. No, this is not your baby. You're basically building a platform or a product, and you're doing it because you wanted to generate income or money, or at the same time, hopefully make the world a better place and be innovative. That product that you're building should have some result, hopefully, whether it's bringing enjoyment to people, cure the problem of boredom, make people happier, or the world a better place. It generates some kind of income, it has some kind of result. It's not a baby. There's that detachment, that emotional detachment, because sometimes you have to make really tough decisions. And when that co-founder, because it kind of goes back to the dating thing, is that if your co-founder leaves, technical co-founder leaves, it's disturbing a little bit. However, business kind of moves on because you're building something. It's that concept. I mean, because I think a lot of folks are very idealistic, and they think they're building a baby. Maybe one day they'll sell that baby, and they might not want to sell it, but why are they building it? In the same way you're looking for a technical co-founder, I think having an emotional co-founder, being able to play and work together is cool. But if that doesn't work out, were you able to let go and detach emotionally and then move on to build that company? If you hire someone that you really like, say that person's your friend, and it doesn't work out because for any reason, because it's just a startup world and a person has their own autonomy. And if it doesn't work out, would you be so sad that you would dissolve the company, or would you just kind of move on because you believe in the vision so much? And given that you did the right thing or the best that you could, because no one is perfect, how are you going to pull yourself up? Because I think a lot of times when people find co-founders and it doesn't work out, they get very devastated, and it impacts, the startup or the company.
Okay, so I guess it's better for you to focus on your goal or your target. If you're building a company or building a product, that's definitely it. And if you have a co-founder, is a friend or whatever it is, and he spent a year, maybe two, and he took the company or the product to the next step, or did his job very well, then that's fair. You can be frustrated about not having him anymore, but I guess a replacement to someone, it's something that is doable. So as long as and that's what you should be concerned about, as long as he's not taking with him a knowledge that you can get on other place, or is doing some negative influence on the current team.
Mm-hmm.
Beside that, I don't see, even if the emotional part is, and it's friend or someone that you really care about, and you have a lot of fun together, or even it work out very well, to have another iteration of a technical lead. It's fair. It happens all the time. Sometimes even a real, fundamental co-founder that is equal to you, sometimes lives. That happens for many reasons, private life issues, figure out that it's not something that is interested, get the most of it real quickly. But as long as you got something from him and you got what you want on this time period, then that's fair. You need to just find another one. Of course, it's not that easy, but it's doable. And you really need to focus on moving on and getting the right stuff on the right place.
Awesome. Now I want to do some role playing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're the technical. Wait, you're the person who's
Okay.
looking for a technical person, and I'm the person who's chatting with you. And so the invisible person is basically the technical person.
Got it. You should go out of your comfort zone next time.
I don't mind being the technical person, but then I have all the questions from the community here. That's why I was just like, okay.
Got it.
I mean, the technical person would not ask you these questions.
Let's do that. So,
what experience do you have with raising funds? That's one of the questions that you would ask a technical potential co-founder.
Okay. So you want what he should have?
Yeah.
So I guess on that case, it depends on the other side. If there is someone that is well experienced and have the right connection and know how to raise money and need someone to cooperate with, that will be fair to have someone that is even not have an experience with raising money at all. Just the right guy, know how to do the right stuff, and will know how to face investors, know how to answer the questions. It's not necessarily matters if it's a VC or someone else, but if you know the answer, that's good enough. Of course, having more than that, it's definitely will definitely be something that is positive. But again, it's a equation that it's a combination of a lot of parameters, and sometimes it's okay to focus on other stuff.
Thank you. This is from Lynn, my friend Lynn from Facebook. She has a few other questions to ask the technical co-founder, and we can analyze them. I was just going to read all her questions. What experience does the technical co-founder have with raising fund? Does the technical co-founder have any connections for a strong board member? Will the technical co-founder, would he or she do it for sweat equity? How many successful raises or exits have has he or she done? Are there any references and sites for their work? Have they ever failed? What would you think about those questions?
So I guess let's take it more generally. I think it's okay to have a technical co-founder that you look for and find without having previously know him. So that happens, and you see there are some. I don't have the numbers, of course, but there are you see that, and I mentioned that before. You see that VCs only care, for example, to have this kind of position, and if you don't have it, they will help you get that. So you see, that's for them from their side. It's okay to get someone that is not being there for the first place or not wasn't part of the original idea and just taking the implementation side, and they are fair and more than fair with that and doing the connection. So this is kind of an indication that it is okay and it's working, because I guess if not, they won't spend the money so easily. And then there are some more indications. You see boards that are approving and acting, and sometimes even pushing to switch or to take someone's place, even a founder place, with someone from outside once it's not working. So that happens all the time. We are actually dealing with people, and they are unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that is and more than that. Sometimes I saw people that are not feel comfortable about talking about it. You know, that the technical position, the technical leader is not a co-founder or is someone that actually replace a replacement for one of the co-founders that left. But that's fair. That happens all the time, and it's not something to feel uncomfortable about.
Okay, what if, let's say you're the non-technical person looking for a technical co-founder, and you have an awesome idea, and you want our invisible friend, the technical co-founder, to build everything, and you want him to have 20% as the technical co-founder, and you want to keep 80%. And you want to be the CEO, you want to take credit for all the work. And this question is from the community. Jara has that question. He's technical, so he saw a lot of that. What is your response to that?
So I guess again, you just need it. That's an easy question. The answer is very simple. You just need the person that will be willing to doing that. If it's someone, and there are some cases, if you are a very strong founder and you have the right connection, you can take care of a lot of things. And the odds to success, and this idea is huge, and it's a potential unicorn, and it's obviously all over the place. And there are some indications. For my experience, for example, I joined startups that were second round for founders that already made an exit and have a backup of many important, a lot of important people with a lot of influence. Then on that situation, that brings you in a position that is the risk is lower, and you're willing to compromise on less than that. So it could be fair. It's not like taking advantage of someone. It could be very reasonable to have that if you're in the right position. It's really depends on what you bring to the table and what the other side have to give to you. It can be sometimes, you know, someone that is not well experienced or have a specific experience, and you wanna get the first chance, but you truly believe in him. And on that case, again, you can get a very good deal with not much compensation involved with that.
Yeah, because you're giving a chance for that person to learn. And I think Dara's comments, I just want to read it, is that he, based on what he said, he just says because he feels strongly about that, is that non-technical people should respect technical people and treat them as someone who also has aspirations, dreams, ideas, and visions for the company. Technical people also want ownership of what they built, and the main value of non-technical people to technical people is to save them from time spent in meetings instead of getting technical work done. Very good salesperson. Those are his thoughts. Let's go to the next one. Shanahan has a point about acceleration of trust, and I think trust is really important in looking for co-founders, of course. Sometimes trust could not be accelerated, but in a startup world, you want to get to a POC ASAP, because you wanted to show investors, you want to raise funds. So how do you balance in building trust and getting the business forward, moving the business forward?
Oh yeah, that's a trust. That's something that is not can be measured, like I said before. So that's definitely an issue, and then and something, you know, internally, there are people. Some people are intend more to trust people easily, and some others are not. You obviously need to take care to back yourself and take care of your interest. Um, that's even, I can even say that in something that is more dramatic. What if you get someone involved in your project and you realize very quickly that he's not the right person? What you do then? So on a contract or setting the terms, you can literally define almost everything. So you need to back up yourself and make sure that you have a way out of this deal.
Yeah.
And so
Before termination, though, I want to talk about courageous conversation and confrontation, because I think a lot of people are not really great at that. Just really working with so many startups and so many people, I find that, and working with a lot of men, people react really differently when things don't work out. Some people basically, it's a time bomb. They don't say anything and it kind of blows up. Other people basically make confrontation. Others just basically go away. However, others basically put the other people down and demean the other person. So I think ego kind of comes into play when we talk about the skills of resolving things and courageously speak about an issue and then resolving them and then move forward. And I think that involves forgiveness and working together to build again. And it reminds me of my improv class, because I remember that when you're speaking in real time, like what we're doing now, because I didn't plan any questions, is that of course you're going to make mistakes. And in my improv class, we always say and emphasize that it's okay to make mistakes. We do this funny chant together, and then you're done. You basically start over again. When we work with people and we cooperate with people, people react to problems very differently. Even before termination, I think it's important for folks to have a resolution process after they cool down a little bit, because I think the way that the process of when people calm down is also very different. And to realize that the other person might be saying things out of ego and they need time to cool off, and once it's cool off, then to have a conversation about what is done and what shouldn't happen again, and then move forward without resentment. I think that's very important. And that's
definitely.
working with trust, because I think many people, when things don't work out, they just basically want to leave. But the process of working things out, I think that's important for customers as well. Working with different people so that there's not just people yelling at each other, which I've seen a lot in the corporate world. And I'm just really,
Yelling at each other?
yeah. Remember? Yes, I've seen a lot of that. And not to normalize that. Doesn't work. Let's go. Bye.
Definitely.
And go to another startup. But to really work together, work things out first. And when things don't work out, you gotta say bye, because not everything is really meant to be.
So I guess about the ego thing. First, ego can be sometimes a good thing. It's a really good motivator for many people. And if you're building something and you want to make it something huge, ego can be can serve that goal. But definitely, if you're picking someone to join you, I guess you should you should you should make it very clear that you need to know 100% that his motivation is about building a successful company
Mm-hmm.
or building a successful product, and sometimes even earning getting a lot of money out of it. That's fair. Once that the foundation, you know that if something happened, even if you did a mistake or something happened, he cares about the more important goal, and in that case, um, just forgetting about stuff and moving on, it becomes really easy. And that's huge part of it. Getting the people that are motivated, and you don't need to motivate them on that case. And it worked for me very very good on many situations. And think of it, once you know that on both sides, then you're more loose. You're free to act with this person. um, it makes it, the relationship on the communication very very easy. You don't afraid of doing stuff or making mistakes. Once the goal is shared and you are very clear about it, so
Yeah. You don't
that's
want to walk.
definitely
You don't want to
important
walk
point.
on eggshells as well, because there's just no way you can build a successful company if you think that you're walking on eggshells every day. My friend Brent also has a comment, and he basically says that it's useful to determine if they're passionate. What one thing they do outside of work that they're passionate about, because that passion give may give the other person an edge over the others. So do you look for passion when you're looking for a technical co-founder?
Definitely, but that's exactly what we just mentioned. You should be passionate about two things, obviously. One is technology, because this is what is supposed to do, and you want someone that lives and breathes this field day and night. And there are people just act like that, and it's amazing to see those people act. You just get into the office in the morning and they find something, or they got the right solution, and you don't know where they got it on how, because they are so addicted to what they're doing. And that's amazing.
How do you identify someone who demonstrates fake passion?
I guess it's kind of a poker game. You just need to see and or examine how much is willing to give up, or to pay in order to get into the game. And that's how you define, or actually that's literally passion. What are you willing to give up? What you're willing
Mhm.
to pay or to do in order to get involved with that? And that's definitely, and I saw it, as a technical guy that was involved in that relationships more than once. You sense that, but need to be honest. But you sense that people are trying to get to see your limits, or how much you are willing to give in order to be involved with that.
Mhm.
And sometimes it can be even about sometimes even salary, or even other stuff, other benefits, or other title or position, to
Mhm.
see how much you are truly believe in the project or the what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then of course, just like that.
Yeah. I think there's little gestures. I've seen someone who just, you give them a contract, they just look at the shares. That's the only thing they look first. Or they're trying to build something and they don't get feedback, or they don't want feedback, and they tell you that. You know that they're working, but their hours are fake. I just don't want to be too idealistic here or too jaded, right? I just want to give concrete reasons or examples of how you will determine passion, because I think there's real passion, and then there's people who actually fake passion. Especially when both of us are kind of in the blockchain emerging technology space, we see a lot of people who do that because they want something, or want something to be stepping stone. I just want us to be street smart, as well as
Definitely.
normal smart.
I think blockchain is a good example, because you see that people that are identify that this industry is running a lot of money,
Mhm.
and the potential is huge.
Mhm.
and sometimes they don't really care about it, or don't even believe on what's going to be, but they want to enjoy the current state of it,
Mhm.
and have fun, and even get earn a lot of money, or do
Mhm.
something with that. So, and I guess that's a good example. But you can define who is fake and who is real by setting the right terms. Or you can differentiate by the now, and talking about the current benefits, or the future.
Yeah.
People that really into something won't care about the current state or what's going on right now,
Yeah.
and they're more involved in the future. And you can sense by their background what they've been done. It's very easy to see that how much the effort they're willing to spend and what they're willing to do in order to get something done. And it's very easy to
Yeah. And you
identify
can
the
always look at
fake
their
person.
code. Or you can hire someone to
Of
look
course.
at the code
Oh, but
to see
the
if they're really
sometimes,
a coder or not. Because I
you
think
know
I
what?
think I've met developers who are just not developers. So I just want to emphasize that for everyone who is just starting out, especially a technical person, right? Like if you open a nail shop or a shoe shop, I think that's very different. But
If you
for
go there, see people doing different stuff, then definitely that's an indication for not being passionate. I give you an opposite. But I give you an opposite example. Me
okay.
personally have nothing, literally nothing personal on GitHub. I
Mhm.
have no, even not a single line of code.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, that's the right way to see someone that is, hey, you're not really into that. But I have a good excuse for that, because every time I'm as a developer, as someone that thinks really efficient about efficiency, every time I have a spare time and I like to write code, I just think about something private, and then I say, hey, I have a project running, I have a company to run, so why not doing that? So I just took task with something that was I was part of a project,
Yeah.
and just doing it over there. So I have, on that case, um, you should sense the right vibe, and why, because it's sometimes be so confusing that you can get the wrong impression. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
no. I have a GitHub account, and I can tell you that I don't have any. I mean, all my codes are private before. I work on some nonprofit projects, so there might be public code there, but a lot of the developers I know who are really good do not have public code on GitHub. We might have depots that are private that you cannot see them, but I don't think you should judge people by how many green dots that they have on there. It's just really hard. You
But
can't, and then
that's
plus,
the
like
first
someone could just
indication.
have things there that are just open source. That's what I said. What I said. If they just basically push or commit open source code, then it might be a little bit different. Just kind of like get to know the person and not judge someone by that, and just kind of go a little bit deeper, which really leads me to my next comment. Vince from the community also said, so his favorite question is, how do we meet? Are you guys long-term friends, passionate about the same or similar things? And he basically says that investors like to see some long-standing synergy between the co-founders. Since we're talking about synergy, it's just really the relationship between the two co-founder. It's kind of like about compatibility, not necessarily dating, even in friends and other relatives or family members. So it's just really, are you guys cool? Are you guys cool? And to really determine
Yeah.
that. And that goes for every business relationship out there. It's like, are we cool, yo?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I guess, yeah. I guess that the answer is very clear.
Okay. And then the last one from the community is from Brian. And his questions for the technical co-founder is, what is your definition of success for a successful exit? And he says that even if they're not technical, it gives you insights into how they might hack a specific outcome, what their values are, what type of do care they might bring with them to the team.
So
So
that's
when
the
you ask a technical co-founder what their definition of success would be for a successful exit.
I guess definitely yes, because you want to make sure you are having the same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't really matter on the what actually becomes later, because things are changing. One co-founder can think of, building an empire, even, dreaming about becoming something huge, and going to an IPO process, and someone,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one will think about having a quick exit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if it's that far from each other, then that's an issue. But most of the time, you just want to get the most of it, building something, and later on argue about how to do it. Let's say that's a once you build something that is valuable, arguing about to an exit, or selling the company, or having an IPO, that's an argue I'm willing to do with anyone, and also give up my opinion in that case. So it's definitely important, but it's more like, it's not an operative discussion. It's more about checking his vision or where he's want to go, and less, should be concerned about the answer, whether it fits to your mindset or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Is there a question or a topic that you want to discuss that I have not asked you yet?
I think one thing that is very important for, I will give a tip for people that are trying to get a technical co-founder. And I sense that the criterias out there are becoming, should remains, let's say, reasonable. And I tell you what I mean. There are stuff that people can get experience out in. You should do it. You should have experience in many fields. Like I said, many aspects of building a product or a life cycle of development. But sometimes it doesn't make sense. And I mean by that, for example, you can be an AI expert and
Mm-hmm.
on the same time a great manager, an experienced manager. Because if you did one of them for the last 4 years, you probably didn't do the other one. Or if you did the half of it, then you're not an expert. You're not there. And I saw lately, for example, people that are asking, or setting a criteria for an NLP expert, that is a field that not exists for that long, from one hand, and from the other hand, they want to have someone that is also hands-on and
Mm-hmm.
implementer and executor, and a manager. So that probably things that won't go together. You can get someone with a scientific experience from the university and academy, or researcher, that it's also know how to manage people and execute and build a product.
Mm-hmm.
And my tip for them, and my suggestion for them, is to just focus on what is most important, and for the long term. If you're building a product that is mostly an AI engine, then go for that side of the experience that you're looking for the right person. If you're building something that is more like a wrapping an AI engine that is already exists, for example, then go for the other side. Or another option is to get someone that is actually fits to the most important thing, that knows how to get the right people on board, and have the part that is missing being implemented by others. Obviously, no manager, no one, any as much as gifted he will be, you don't know to do everything. For example, from my experience, I once you run a company with a web application and a
Mm-hmm.
backend and a mobile application, both Android and iOS native, yeah, you probably you don't have a solid opinion on each one of them. Okay, so you focus on the most important area. By the way, personally, that's why I picked the backend as a place to put my efforts in, and you know how to get the right people on other parts that can lead that, and do a great job. Obviously, once you pick a co-founder, you need him to be an expert on the part that is most important, where the company IP is, and follow that, get the other people or the other fields of interest involved with people that are relevant.
How about creativity? I think Vince from the community has a comment about creative or creativity. Could a technical person be creative?
Obviously, yes, but I guess it's talking about the product side of the creativity, and again, on that case, it depends on the relationship with the other people, on other people, on the leadership of the company or the product. So you obviously want to have as much as you can creativity, or people that knows how to do that and being involved of what the company is doing. But I don't see that as a need that you must fulfill with the technical co-founder. Sometimes once it's very solid, and you see, let's for example, you're building some healthcare product,
Mm-hmm,
and you're a doctor, and you're looking for someone to execute. You won't get someone that know how to implement, and also a cancer expert,
mm-hmm,
but you probably need that guy to be someone that is know how to get into new fields and fast,
mm-hmm.
and that's the key factor that you are looking for.
Yeah, no, I believe that creativity is important. It really doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're technical or biological. That sounds kind of funny. Even if you're in medicine, if you're a lawyer, anything you do, I think creativity is really important. But I think the ability to having a growth mindset and the ability to learn fast is really important, because there's really no way. And then the humbleness, right? I think we haven't spoken about this yet, and I just kind of, it just popped in my head, is having someone who's humble. I think it's really important, someone who's willing to learn, because I think, as you said, not everyone knows everything. And no matter how gifted you are, even if you're a genius, you just don't know everything. It's just impossible, right? So it's important for a person to be humble, because, if they don't know someone, they should ask, regardless
Totally agree.
regardless of their position or title. Because that's important. And it's just that, and that humbleness would basically allow, that acceptance would allow people to also cooperate and work together better as well, and not just for the ability to learn and create or implement, or come up with creative solutions for problems. It's like being in Mars. You basically have to figure out everything. And if you're not willing to ask, if you're not humble, how are you going to make plants from sand or air?
I even take it, and you know what, I even take it to the next step and say that it's okay, someone that knows that it's okay for him to not be involved with everything, that
Mhm,
it's okay not knowing any aspect of everything, so that's okay.
mhm.
You can't catch up with, you know all the activity that's going
I think
on
it's
any
better
product.
that person say that they don't know, because then you can always find someone else.
Exactly.
Instead of just guessing and waiting.
Exactly.
Like 3 days later, oh, I really don't know, but I'm just trying to know so that I look better. Like if
Yeah.
they say they don't
If
know, you're like, oh yeah, I'll go and find an expert who would know, or pay for someone who would know, right? That save a lot of time. I think it's just really being real and authentic. I think that's kind of important, and not really showing a false self, and or identifying the false self when you're looking for a technical person, so that you don't get fooled. And it's okay to be fooled if you are, right? Because I think you, as a non-technical person who is looking for somebody, you just can't be too hard on yourself, because even the greatest experts are being fooled by psychopaths and sociopaths every day. If you're a fool, just let it go and move on.
the second tip that I think it's very important, it's something that is maybe considered as a very minor to some people, but it's so important, and it's as an indicator. It's the willing, or the internal need of this person to simply explain the technical aspect of the system to the other parts, the non-technical co-founder, or other position inside the company that are not technical. If you sense that someone that knows how to do that is it's a key to success, and if you don't have it, that becomes very quickly an issue. And I sense that from my experience, that technical people that know how to explain, it's more than communication, and know how to explain, or how to take deep, complex technical issues and simplify to to a 10 years old language, that's something that is super important. Take
Yeah,
that as an indicator.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that's what we do. I think sometimes as experts we talk our own language and we forget, and this is pretty useful for marketing as well, right? So like on your website you'll say method and systems for something array, and like, and then you're expecting a 5-10-year-old to like understand that.
And it's easy it's easy to measure. You can tell by a 5 minute talk. Just ask someone to explain what he did lately on
Mm-hmm.
it, or what problem he faced lately, and he consider that he knows that you're not a technical person. If he knows how to do it right, then yeah, that's a yes.
And I think it's good for that communication skills, because when that person leave, hopefully they're gonna record stuff and pass it on to the next engineer or next development team so that they can continue with it. Because sometimes a developer has special knowledge that other developers may not understand, or may not know how to implement. So I think beyond communicating with the team, it's also important that they consider some succession planning about the technical side, because I think that's very important, right? Even on the IP side, how are people going to continue creating IP when they don't really understand what they mean? Because someone's going to file a patent, hopefully, and and other protection. So it's important that communication is very important. I mean, it's good in a way, because then the technical people at the office may not understand that, and they might be wowed by this. But at the same time, you need to be able to be relatable. I guess the last question I have is, I think we can talk forever about this. But the last question that I
Definitely.
have is, what is that one wisdom or advice that you have for the community when someone is looking for the right technical co-founder?
So I guess I just mentioned two of them, and the first one is super important about setting the right criteria or focusing what's important. But I think one thing that people that we're talking about, you mentioned being humble. So I think on the non-technical side, although that you are the one that holds the vision, the idea, and sometimes even the investors and know how to raise money, um, you should be aware of that. This is a very tough market, and getting the right person, it's sometimes not that easy. So once you find the right one, or sense that you get someone that is very good, don't go with don't compromise on that. just
Mhm.
just get them on board, just like that.
And treat him or her well.
Of course, and on any relationship.
How we treat each other is very important, right? I
Definitely.
mean, we can't be perfect, but we could be human.
And we can do mistakes.
Yeah, I've met all kinds of people, and even people who complained, who are technical people. And I don't understand that, because I thought developers don't complain. I thought they just code. But they're just human. But they're just human.
Human. They are.
Thank you, Ofer, for your time. It was awesome.
Thank you, Michelle.
Bye
It was
bye.
really, really a great fun.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye.